Comment of the day goes to Pizza Dude. Shout out to you, bro. And also shout out to Baker Designs 2 on Twitter for editing this amazing thumbnail for me. But if you guys do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And let's get this video to 200 likes. But let's get into the video. Bruce Lee. One of the most iconic figures in not only mixed martial arts, but in the world. So that leads to the only logical question. How would he play on the football field? We made Bruce Lee, put him at running back, and we're going to do a Madden 21 career simulation. We put Bruce Lee on the Pittsburgh Steelers because those are his iconic colors of black and yellow. We made him number 32 because that is the unfortunate age that Bruce Lee died at. He actually went to Washington University, so that's what we made it. He was born on November 27th, so that is what we made it. And he's from San Francisco, California, so that is what we made it. Now, Bruce Lee is really small, coming in at 5'8", about 130 pounds. We were able to make him the 5'8", but not the 130, so we settled at the lowest we could go, which was 160. You can see the veins poking out of his arms. I wonder what else you can see the veins popping out of.
Glizzes flying everywhere.
Now, Bruce Lee comes in at a 93 overall running back. Obviously, Bruce Lee is known for his extreme speed and quickness, so we put all of his speed and acceleration stats up to a 92. Bruce Lee is an icon in the world of mixed martial arts, which means his hand-to-hand combat is immaculate, so we had to put that stiff arm up to a 95. Obviously, Bruce Lee is extremely smart and intelligent, coming up with some of the most famous quotes in the history of the world, so we had to put his awareness and ball carrier vision up as he's able to see things before they happen. And lastly, due to his amazing footwork and agileness, we had to put his juke move all the way up to a 95 as he's going to be very hard to get their hands on. Like I said though, guys, I think this Bruce Lee career simulation is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how he can do just because of all the technical and footwork skills that he has. I think he would have made a great NFL player, obviously a better mixed martial artist, but hey, let's get into it. Here we are in year one with Bruce Lee, fellas, and I'm not going to lie, he looks absolutely sexy in that Pittsburgh Steelers uniform.
What?
A 93 overall rookie, so I think he's definitely going to be able to dominate the NFL early in his career. It's going to be interesting to see though, because that Pittsburgh Steelers run game and that offensive line is not known for being the best. And I don't know about you guys, but Bruce Lee just gives me that big dick energy. It's got to be gigantic.
You're a monster.
And here we are after year one with Bruce Lee, fellas, and he actually balled out. 1,359 yards rushing. That is pretty damn good. Average of 84.9 a game. Man, only had 5 rushing touchdowns though, which actually didn't even lead the team, as James Conner actually led the team in rushing touchdowns. But you can definitely tell that Bruce Lee was by far the most used running back and the best. He also had 224 yards receiving this year, good for 2 touchdowns and 111 yards of rack, showing those quick moves are really paying off. I know he was only a rookie this year, guys, but you're telling me that Bruce Lee isn't already better than bald-ass Rex Burkhead? Unfortunately, though, Bruce Lee did not win Rookie of the Year. He did come in third, though, which means he did ball out this year, but unfortunately, Joe Burrow won, followed by Justin Herbert, of course. What else do you expect? This is pretty cool, though, guys. As a rookie, Bruce Lee came in 4th in the whole AFC in the best running back race. It shows that he is going to be a monster with those balls in his hands.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Hey, and they did make the playoffs, too, but they're going to have to go up against the number 2 Buffalo Bills in the first round of the playoffs, which we actually have footage of with our famous commentator, Billy Bob, so let's send it on over to him. Thanks for kicking it on over to me, TC. As you can see, we got Bruce Lee out on the football field, and boy, oh boy, does he look absolutely tremendous in those underpants. This time we're going to toss it out right his booty hole, looking heck of time, makes a defender look absolutely stupid with a juke, and then another spin move all the way down to about the 20-yard line, and Bruce Lee is killing it. Fast forward to later into the third quarter here, and he's actually going to get into the end zone with a rushing touchdown on the day on an upset win in Buffalo, 28-14. Back to you. Thanks for kicking it back over to me, Billy Bob. But as you guys can see by the highlights and by the stats, Bruce Lee absolutely dominated this game in the upset win. 20 attempts, 152 rushing yards, good for 1 touchdown on the ground. An absolutely amazing game by Bruce Lee. That then led them into Cleveland the next week, where they upset the number 1 seeded Cleveland Browns 32-28 in an unbelievable game. Bruce Lee had nowhere near the game he had in his first one, though, against the Buffalo Bills, as he only had 11 rushes for 45 yards with no touchdowns. But his brothers James Conner and Benny Snell picked him up with a touchdown each. I guess Bruce Lee's wisdom and guidance is just rubbing off on the whole squad. And ladies and gentlemen, do not ask me how. I guess it is just the power of Bruce Lee and his big old ding-a-ling. but they won again in the AFC Championship game against their rival, the Cincinnati Bengals, as Lee killed this game with 12 rushes for 79 yards and a touchdown, coming up in the clutch when they needed him. What a game by Bruce Lee, and that's leading them into the Super Bowl. They were playing the Super Bowl against the Seattle Seahawks, and you guys already guessed it. We got Billy Bob on the call. We gonna see what's going on in the Super Bowl. About to ball. Sending it over to Billy Bob now.
Thanks once again, TCA. As you can see, Bruce Lee gets off to an extremely fast start here in the Super Bowl with the 14-yard run for a first down. Then next thing you know, you got Ben Roethlisberger rolling out left, the booty hole depth, and he finds Bruce Lee about 50 yards down the dadgum field, leading to the very next play on a 2nd and goal. He finds Bruce Lee in the end zone, where Bruce Lee shows his humble honor, taking a knee, culminating in a Super Bowl victory for Bruce Lee in his rookie season. Back to you, TCA.
Thanks once again, Billy Bob. As always, you killed it. But guys, it does suck to see that Bruce Lee actually did get hurt in the Super Bowl. But hey, he did his job, went in there and got the touchdown, which ended up being a difference in the game. Only 28 yards with 1 rushing touchdown. But hey, hell of a game, and it was in the Super Bowl. Now, for those of you guys that do follow this channel and have seen some of the career simulations we've done in the past, you know that it is extremely rare for the player that we are seeing to actually win a Super Bowl, much less in their first season in the NFL. So this is extremely special by Bruce Lee. I can't imagine what else he's going to do in his NFL career. And we back at it like a crack addict in year number 2. Let's see what it do. In year number 2 alone, Bruce Lee comes in at a 96 overall. 96, hop on some dicks, however you want to spin it.
You acting real crazy, honey.
Some new faces on the team this year, though. It's big Ben Roethlisberger has retired, and we have Mitchell Trubisky as the quarterback now. So you can expect things to go downhill pretty fast. Just ask the Chicago Bears fans. Juju is only an 88 overall now, so I'd assume he's still more focused on his TikTok dancing career than his NFL receiver career. We went ahead and simulated year 2, fella, and don't ask me how, but they made the playoffs again. This time is the 5th seed, and they'll be taking on the Texans in the first round. Lee had an even better season this year, again rushing for about 13 to 1,400 yards, but this year he had 8 touchdowns, so he increased his yards per game and he increased his rushing touchdowns. Not only did he increase those 2, but he also increased his receiving yards this year, going for 247, and he increased his receiving touchdowns, going for 3 receiving touchdowns. That's 11 total touchdowns on the year. Domination by Bruce Lee. And as advertised, Mitchell Trubisky had an extremely mediocre year, 3,200 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions on only 61%. Not good. I don't see the playoff run being that deep this year. Once again, Bruce Lee improving, as this year he was number 3 in the best AFC running backs behind Josh Jacobs and Nick Chubb. Not too bad names to be behind. Especially if you're me. Nothing wrong with being behind, guys.
What?
And unfortunately, guys, I was correct. They were absolutely obliterated in the playoff game in the first round by the Texans, 38-10. Oh my goodness, guys, you cannot make this stuff up. Mitchell Trubisky, 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Are you serious, bro? I mean, that is like all-time bad. Bruce Lee's play wasn't hurt that bad, though, as he still did his thing, 95 rushing yards for a touchdown. But I just have a feeling that Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback is going to absolutely hinder the winning in Bruce Lee's career. It's not all bad, though. In only his 2nd year, Bruce Lee did make the Pro Bowl as the #1 slot running back, which we actually have some footage of. And it's not much, guys, it's the Pro Bowl, but as you can see, Bruce Lee gets the toss out right. His booty hole's looking extra tight. He hits the mean juke on the defender, and he's brought down there inside the 2-yard line. He would then follow that up later in the possession by catching a touchdown pass in the end zone thrown to him by Patrick Mahomes. Unfortunately, though, Bruce Lee was not able to capture that 2nd Super Bowl win, as the Cleveland Browns ended up doing it. The only thing Bruce Lee cares about is winning and honor. Let's see if he can get into it next year. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, year 3 for Bruce Lee. Let's see if he can eat some booty. And this year, ladies and gentlemen, obviously Bruce Lee is coming back and better than ever. It was a 98 overall, and he's got the captain honors now. An absolutely amazing first 2 seasons for Bruce Lee. Let's see if he can keep it rolling. Well, it looks like the Steelers finished 9-7 this year, as Bruce Lee is taking some dick pics, which was good enough to get them the number 6 seed, and this year they'll be taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Bruce Lee's 3 for 3 in his young career on getting to the playoffs. And guys, the rushing yard numbers just keep going up at 1,500 now. Only 5 rushing touchdowns, though those rushing touchdown numbers are a little suspect to me. But hey, 1,500 yards, that's pretty damn good. And as always, Bruce Lee always upping his numbers in the receiving game. 257 yards. Did only have 1 touchdown, though, but he had 126 yards of rag, proving that once he catches that ball, it's just hard to catch him. I'd like to see him catch my balls, though.
Stop it.
And look at this, guys, already a top 10 running back of all time, jumping in front of Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, still behind Nick Chubb. By looking at his face, it's kind of giving me a Chubb, but hey, number 9's pretty good. And this has to be a joke, guys. Mitchell Trubisky comes in 8th in the MVP race. And guys, I'm still just in awe right now. This is the first career simulation I've done where Mitchell Trubisky has done anything worthy than something other than a garbage can or the city dump. 38 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. That is an unbelievable ratio. Hopefully he can keep it into the playoffs. Yep, he didn't. They lost 49-10. Unbelievable. Mitchell Trubisky is just a cancer. In Mitchell Trubisky's career with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he is yet to throw a passing touchdown in the playoffs. He has 0 touchdowns again, 2 interceptions. That is 0 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in his playoff career for Pittsburgh. This is just an absolute abomination to everything that Bruce Lee is doing for this team. And I hate to say it, but because there was no threat of the passing game, they're able to just lock in on the run on Bruce Lee. He's only had 15 attempts for 56 yards and 0 touchdowns. It's not his fault, guys. We saw what he can do when he has a viable passing attack, even in the regular season. But once the playoffs hit, you need a good quarterback. Mitchell Trubisky is not that. And look at this created player for the Indianapolis Colts, their new quarterback, Anthony Wilkinson. By the look of that mustache, he has to have a big ding-a-ling. Oh, and it looks like we got a rematch of this year's Super Bowl as the Buccaneers took on the Kansas City Chiefs, but this time the Kansas City Chiefs won it. I wish that Bruce Lee would have been involved in another Super Bowl, but hey, the chase always continues next year. Year 4, kick down the door. Bruce Lee looking at a couple booty pics from a few whores. Year number 4, and Bruce Lee is already in 99 overall. This is absolutely unbelievable. A 94 speed, 94 acceleration, 96 juke move. I mean, this dude is just unbelievable. I just hope and pray that Mitchell Trubisky can keep his end of the bargain. And yup, this is the year that Bruce Lee broke it open, over 1,500 yards with 16 rushing touchdowns. Oh my goodness. And Bruce Lee had 354 yards and 2 touchdowns in the receiving game. That's 18 total touchdowns for him this year, dude. He's just a monster everywhere. And finally, Bruce Lee is able to get the coveted running back of the year award in the AFC. Should have had a couple of them if it's my opinion, but hey, that's just me. But let's go. Bruce Lee finally gets the award that he deserves. What? This has to be a joke. They didn't even make the playoffs? Oh yeah, get Trubisky the fuck out of here, bro. Once again, Bruce Lee, because of Mitchell Trubisky, is having to settle for another Pro Bowl. Don't get me wrong, Pro Bowls are always good to be in, but when you're going for titles and Super Bowls, Pro Bowls is the last thing that you want to be in. And the Washington football team wins the Super Bowl over the Kansas City Chiefs? Oh yeah, this is definitely an EA simulation. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, as we get into year 5 of this career simulation, the last year that we are going to actually simulate and show fully. And obviously it's hard to get better than a 99 overall, guys, but as you can see, Bruce Lee is officially a star. He's a face of the league. You see what I did there? That was really bad, I know. 94 overall. Okay, Juju, baby, he has slowed down on the TikTok dances. Either that or Addison Rae hit him up and got him in shape. Hey. And once again, fellas, Bruce Lee, extremely efficient, 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns, 89 yards per game with 99 yards of yak. Unbelievable season by him. Unfortunately, year in and year out, you have no clue what you're going to get from Mitch Trubisky, though. Only 3,400 yards for 29 touchdowns and 14 interceptions on 60% passing. That is so bad. And you know that you're just not a very good quarterback when your yards per attempt is only a little bit bigger than my ding-a-ling. And I just can't, guys. Bruce Lee misses the playoffs once again because of god-awful quarterback play. Nowhere in sight. Just a terrible, terrible, misfortunate event that he had to get paired with Mitchell Trubisky in his career. So unfortunate. And look at Bruce Lee texting his agent right now saying, get me the fuck out of Pittsburgh with this dumbass mother trucker Mitchell Trubisky. And, ooh, Bruce Lee all the way down at number 6 in the AFC Running Back of the Year awards. And it looks like the cheating ass Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl this year against the Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully the Falcons didn't blow another lead. Sorry, Atlanta Falcons fans. And like I said, guys, this is going to be the last season that we actually show year by year the career simulation. Now we're just going to simulate to the end of his career and see what's happening with the stats. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Fast forward to 10 years in the future, or 10 years completed in the NFL, I should say, for Bruce Lee. Let's check out and see how he ended up finishing off after we stopped walking through it. And what a hell of a career by Bruce Lee. An 18,000 legacy score. Still only finished with that 1 Super Bowl, surprisingly, which was in his rookie year, but it looks like he did make it to 2 other ones, as he has 3 AFC championships and 14 yearly awards, which I'm pretty sure sure are Pro Bowls or, you know, like AFC Players of the Week or something like that, but an absolutely amazing career. Let's go check out how many yards he finished with. So it looks like Bruce Lee finished with 15,000 rushing yards. That is unbelievable. 104 rushing touchdowns, 94 yards per game for 10 seasons. I mean, that is just unbelievable, guys. Not too shabby through the air either. 3,200 receiving yards with 21 touchdowns. I mean, Bruce Lee, I know he's a great mixed martial artist, but I'm telling you, I think he could have had a possibly even better career in the NFL. I mean, look at this. He finishes the #2 running back of all time ahead of Christian McCaffrey, Adrian Peterson. I mean, think about all the great running backs. Bo Jackson, Herschel Walker, Derrick Henry. I mean, I know I'm missing a ton of them right now, but that is crazy. Second of all time. And obviously, guys, as you can see right here, it says, congratulations, Bruce. Hall of Fame players are rare, but undrafted Hall of Famers are almost unheard of. You ended your 9-year career as the 15th best player of all time. You'll be remembered as one of the best undrafted players in history. Bruce Lee is an NFL Hall of Famer, just like he's basically an all freaking world Hall of Famer and everything, but especially mixed martial arts. An absolutely unbelievable player in the NFL, but even more so an unbelievable man. Rest in peace, Bruce Lee. You are an absolute icon and a legend whose impact still makes its waves today. But that is going to be all I have for this video, though, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, be sure to smash that subscribe button, smash that like button. Let's get this video to 200 likes. But thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'm the coming attraction.